So for this week's YouTube video, I'm going to take you through a few of my favorite breakfasts that I like to have as someone that's managing their PCOS symptoms. So I do eat a lot of the same things over and over again, but I like to have a number of things on rotation so that when I feel like something, I have a meal that I can go to suit that craving. So that usually looks like having a few options that are sweet and savory. So this week I'm going to have a different breakfast every single day, and I'm going to show you what they are, how I make them. So today I feel like something savory. I also have some leftover bacon because I made Caesar salad last night for dinner. And I've also got these organic falafels that I get from Harris Farm. These are one of the only pre-made falafels that I've found on the market that don't have a whole bunch of shit in them, like ingredient-wise. They're certified organic. They've got organic chickpeas, organic coriander, organic spring onion, organic dill, organic parsley, organic rice flour, organic virgin coconut oil, organic garlic, and salt. That's literally it. When you look at the ingredients of a lot of other falafels, there's like random stuff in there. So I definitely recommend getting these ones. The brand is called Bite Me Fine Foods. And they also do a lot of like sweet potato patties, zucchini fritters, corn fritters. Like they have a whole range of products, which I love. So the serving size is 3 of these falafels. So I'm gonna have 3 because I've just added that into my FitnessPal, so it's just easy. We also had this tiny little bit of chicken left over last night. Literally, this is how big it is. Only 44 grams of chicken, but I'm just gonna add that in. So 1, I'm not wasting the food, and 2, it just bulks up my protein a little bit in this meal. It's also a really lean source of protein, so really good to get that into my diet this morning as well for my breakfast. So I'm gonna put this into the oven. I'm just gonna let it cook while I sort out everything else. I don't spray it with oil or anything like that because the bacon already has a lot of oil in it, and the falafels really just don't need it. I've cooked them in the oven like that without spraying them with oil, and they're completely fine. Also with this breakfast, I'm going to have some scrambled eggs. So I always have 2 organic eggs. Now, usually with my scrambled eggs, I will grate Parmesan in it. 1, it tastes amazing, and 2, Parmesan actually has quite a high protein content for a cheese. So I always add it in for a little bit more protein, and I just like the way that it tastes. I have run out of Parmesan cheese because we had Caesar salad last night, so we used all of that up. So I'm just going to use Tasty cheese today. I've never used Tasty cheese to cook my eggs, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm sure it's going to be fine though. There we go. So I have 15 grams of Tasty cheese in there. I just give that a bit of a whisk all together. So that's how it's looking. And just to boost the carb content in this meal, I did make my own little bread rolls yesterday. I would say that it's more like a scone, but nonetheless, it tastes delicious, and I feel like it's going to be really yummy with like the egg and the falafel and all of those sorts of things. So I'm going to have that as well, just so that that's not wasted either. Okay, I'm just about to get started cooking my eggs. So the way that I cook my eggs, and I think a really important way to get your scrambled eggs really nice and yummy, is to do it low and slow. So I've just got my pan here. It's actually like really hot because I've just sort of like preheated it. And then now I've turned it like all the way down, like not off, but all the way down. And so this is already really hot. Like I can see it sort of smoking. So I literally might just let it chill for a sec before I put my eggs in. And then I don't use any oil or butter or anything. I just put the egg straight into the pan. And the key is to make sure that you're like moving it consistently. So low and slow, low and slow. Hear a little sizzle as it goes in, which is a good thing. I also use a really small pan because I find that it helps you like move the egg around better. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I'm literally just moving it. I actually even think the pan might have been a little bit too hot. Like I probably should have cooled it down a little bit more. But I just like move it around very slowly. If you can see, so it's actually not on the hot plate right now. It's just like already warm in there. And I just move it around like really low and slow like this until it all looks like pretty cooked. Yum. I'm I'm just gonna add a little bit of white pepper to my eggs. I've literally been obsessed with white pepper. I used to hate pepper. And I'm also just gonna add a bit of salt. And then I'm also just gonna use some of this blue cheese dip because it's so yum. And that is literally it for my breakfast today. I'll give you a show. I would say all up, that probably took me like maybe 25 minutes, but not really. Like I just really had to wait for the bacon and like everything to sort of cook into the oven. Especially if you have a little bit of time in the morning, definitely recommend having something like this. All round, a really balanced plate, and I can't wait to eat this. Good morning. Back for another breakfast this morning, and I'm having one of my literal go-to breakfasts. I have this breakfast at least every week. It's so easy to make. So what I'm having is chia pudding. And the best part about chia pudding is that the main recipe, I guess, stays the same, but you can make it different every single time so that you don't get sick of it. So to make it different, I always use like a different flavored protein powder. I'll use a different fruit, different granola. So there's a few ways that you can kind of change it up so that you don't get sick of it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my yogurt into the bowl. So I need 200 grams of yogurt today. And then what I do is I'll mix in my protein powder next. So today I'm going with vanilla. Then I just give that a bit of a mix so that the protein powder's all like mixed into the yogurt as if it's just one thing. And then I've pre-made some chia pudding. The only thing that's in here is chia seeds. I've also used some colostrum. This just helps with like gut digestion and stuff like that. It doesn't have a taste, so I just added it in, and then some water. Now, I don't usually make my chia pudding that way. I usually do it a little bit differently, and it's a little hard. So I'm hoping that it just gets broken up by the yogurt because like I'm not gonna waste it. This yogurt is really runny, so I think it's actually probably gonna work with this particular type of yogurt that I'm using. But yeah, usually I make it a different way. Now that is all mixed in, we just add our toppings. So I'm going to have mango as my fruit today, and I'm going to have my Nutrimate granola. This is like a chocolate sort of flavored granola. I've got 2 packets because this one's literally like about to be empty. So let's add our toppings. So I've just added in the mango, and now I'm just gonna add in my granola. And that is literally it. This breakfast literally takes me probably like 4 minutes to put together, especially when you pre-make the chia pudding the night before, which that only takes me like a minute to make. This is literally going to be probably one of my favorite breakfasts for the summer because of the mango. It's so nice having seasonal fruit, and I just feel like this combo with the vanilla, so good. Delicious. So good. So excited for breakfast this morning. I'm going to make like an omelette wrap situation. I'm essentially just going to put everything in with the egg and then put the wrap on top of the pan and then like let it cook. So I have a few ingredients that I'm going to put into the omelette, and this breakfast is going to be amazing. It's almost 50 grams of protein. It's like 49.8 grams of protein. And I think it's going to be really, really tasty. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to put the spinach into the bowl. So I've got my spinach in the bowl. Because it's going in with like an omelette, I'm also just going to cut it into little smaller bits so that it just like mixes really well with the egg. So to get a little bit more protein into my little omelette, I'm also adding in some shaved turkey breast. I like using turkey because I feel like it's not as full on as ham. It's a really lean source of protein that you can add to your breakfast or your lunch. Similar with the spinach, I want the turkey to be like really small so everything kind of mixes in. So I'm also going to give this a bit of a snip. I've also just got some parsley, so I'm going to add a little bit of this in for flavor as well. I've got a little bit of red onion that I'm adding in. And now for the fun part, adding in the cheese. So I've got both tasty cheese as well as Parmesan that I'm going to add in. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients that I want to add to the eggs in this little bowl here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the eggs into this separate bowl, give them a bit of a whisk first, and then I'm going to add those ingredients in. I'm just going to give these a bit of a whisk, and then I'm just going to add in all of the ingredients that I've just prepped. Okay, I'm just going to give this all a bit of a mix so that it combines all together. Okay, I'm just preheating my pan and I'm just going to put a touch of olive oil. I'm just going to give that a bit of a spread as well because obviously the egg is going to go all over the whole pan. So I'm just hoping that it kind of like, one, adds a little bit of flavor, and two, it's just not going to stick. Also going to be using these wraps from Simpson's Pantry. These are just their white premium wraps, so just their normal white wraps. I've got my egg mixture here. I've also just added in some salt and some white pepper. Okay, our pan is nice and hot. I'm just going to turn that back down to halfway and I'm going to add in my egg mixture to the pan. I'm just going to spread this out so that it's all nice and even so that when it cooks, it hopefully cooks evenly. So there's the egg mixture all even in the pan. Okay, I've just slightly turned the pan up and I'm also going to add a lid just so that it steams a little bit while it's in there. Ooh, she's cooking. Okay, I'm going to leave this on just for another couple mins and then I'm going to put the wrap on top of the egg. Alrighty, we've got our wrap. Plonking her on. Alright, let's see if I can give this a go. Success. Yum. How good does that look? So obviously we need some sort of sausage situation. So I'm going to be using the Muti barbecue sauce. This is so yummy. I've been using it on my homemade pizzas. It's so good. Okay, let's wrap this up. Yum. Looks so good. Okay, let's taste together. Yum. That is so good. It's very hot. Yum. For breakfast today, I'm going to make like cheesy eggs on toast with cottage cheese and hot honey. So I'm also going to be making this for Lana as well. So it's double in terms of like eggs and stuff like that, and then I'll just show you like what I've made for myself. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to crack all the eggs into the bowl. I'm going to give it a bit of a whisk, and then I'm going to add in the Parmesan cheese to make it cheesy eggs as well. Okay, then I'm just going to add the Parmesan cheese straight into the bowl with the eggs. And just give that a bit of a mix now that the cheese is all into the bowl. I'm also having one slice of bacon with my one, so I'm just going to put that on first because I like it extra crispy. So I'll let that cook for a little bit first, get it nice and crispy, and then I'll start to do the eggs in the other pan. The bacon's just cooking, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add the cottage cheese into here and then mix the hot honey in with the cottage cheese instead of drizzling it on top. I'm just hoping that it like is more infused into the cottage cheese that way. And then I'm going to give it a mix. Okay, I'm just going to add my eggs to the pan now, and again, just do that like low and slow. Okay, now that we've got our toast all ready to go, I'm just going to layer it with the cottage cheese first. And then I'm just going to top it with the egg. And then I'm just going to put some Mingle Bagel seasoning over the top with a little bit of salt, and then we're done. And there you have it. Oh, almost dropped yours. Breakfast for you and your bestie. Protein girlies. Good? Mmm. Yummy. Is it actually? That's good. Mmm. Delicious. Thank you. Hot honey. Good morning, you guys. I'm in a little bit of a rush this morning and I'm also about to go and meet a friend. So the best thing that I can have for breakfast this morning is a smoothie because it's going to be super, super quick and I'm going to be able to take it with me when I go and meet my friend. So I just figured easiest thing, I can get all the protein that I need in it, I can make a really balanced meal still, and it's going to be quick and easy. So when I was thinking about what I wanted for breakfast this morning, I was vibing like choc banana smoothie. So that's what I'm going to make. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ice into my NutriBullet. It is a really hot day, so definitely need ice in here. Sometimes because I'm using like frozen fruit, sometimes I don't put ice if I don't want it super like frosty. So then I'm just gonna go in, I've got some frozen banana that's been in my freezer. I'd say that's probably like one banana. I'm also going to be using almond milk. Sometimes with my smoothies, I just use water. But usually when I use water, I add in Greek yogurt and that like makes it really creamy, but I don't have any Greek yogurt. So I'm just gonna use my almond milk. I'm going to add in a little scoop of chia seeds. I'm going to be adding in a little bit of this colostrum as well as my chocolate whey protein. And then just as a little extra of healthy fat, I'm going to add in a little scoop of peanut butter. I like to give it a bit of a shake before I put it into the blender because I feel like it kind of breaks up the protein powder a little bit. I'm just giving that a little bit of a mix. Get my blender out. Okay, now that my smoothie's all blitzed up, I'm just gonna pour it into this little shaker. It's like super well insulated and I'm going to the beach, so I want it to stay nice and cold. Yum. Yum. And that is literally it. My breakfast is all ready to go. I'm gonna go get ready for my day and be able to take that with me. Please let me know in the comments if you end up trying any of these recipes. Honestly, it like makes my day when I see you guys make the recipes that I make, and I just love hearing about whether there's food that you really enjoy that I've created as well. So please let me know in the comments and have the best week.